desk phone calls.
It's funny.
Order the first item is the approval of the minutes.
So moved.
All right, consent items, we are not pulling anything.
Nope.
Item 4A, ordinance to amend the city code pertaining to automated vehicle identification system penalty notices. That is a really long name.
Yes, it
That's
is.
like really long. We need more acronyms.
You can add some if you like.
I like acronyms. I come from the military and I like acronyms.
Good government and their acronyms.
Yeah.
Is anybody present?
Yes. Mandy or Lieutenant Amsalu. Mandy wrote it, so she can.
I can, so basically. I can
Introduce
jump in.
yourself, Mandy.
Sure. Mandy McDonald, the police legal advisor. So this is based upon, there was changes to Colorado law that now allow the photo assessments being done without a city employee inside the vehicle. And so the city has now engaged a vendor in order to issue these penalty assessments. So this is really just directed at making those changes to the city code to allow us to do that.
Yeah, perfect.
I think one of the biggest changes is, I think maybe our old ordinance said that it had to be manned, and obviously there's
Yeah.
a change in state law that no longer requires that. As you all know, that was one of the big things driving our negative financial performance on that entire thing. So the new contract does
I
not.
couldn't get anybody to look.
uh,
I remember.
Correct.
yeah, Well,
This takes that out.
Good.
so that's one of the changes. There's others, but that is one of the changes that is in there.
Well, we had applicants. They just didn't meet the qualifications to look. Yeah, I remember that. Uh-huh.
It could have been that, this was in their background of some sort,
Oh.
Yeah. I'm not saying that that's what happened,
Right, I
but,
know. It was a big debacle.
Mandy, any other changes? Is that the big one?
That's the biggest one, that no longer a city employee needs to be in it. And then the penalty assessment will be issued through the contractor.
Excellent.
And then there was a slight change just based upon the hearing that we just added the photo speed enforcement penalty notice language to 134, 430 for the hearing.
That's the administrative, like the same person handles the parking stuff, right? If somebody wants to contest the civil, they would go to the parking person.
Yes, the traffic
Okay,
bureau.
so we are back to getting bids? Is that what you said?
Oh, no, we've actually gotten bids. We've actually selected the vendor. And so we want to get through those negotiations with the vendor to see, make sure there was no other changes based on their plan of operation that we needed to make in the ordinance. We are working through right now equipment procurement, rollout plan, and I think Lieutenant Amsalu and I have talked. He'll be back to this committee probably next month or month after to tell you all about the rollout plan, so you guys understand how we're rolling it out.
Okay, and you did get all my emails of all
I
these
did, we
companies
sent
that
those
were-
all on. Yep, we sent them all on
Every
to.
company on the planet found me and was reaching out to me, wanting to
Now,
give me a
what?
bid.
I'm shocked.
Wanting to give me a bid. I
Well,
said, yeah, I don't
shocked.
think that's my
Right,
role.
yeah.
I'll
Couple of
send
them,
you to
a
Jason.
couple of them got into us after the RFP closed, and we did reach out to them and say, sorry, you missed
Okay.
the window, but
Okay.
some of those that did, we reached out and said,
Yeah.
here's where the RFP is gonna be, here's how you bid, and we look forward to hearing from you, and that's kind of where we left. it.
Yeah, good. I said, I don't take bids.
We'll probably roll out, I think we're talking about rolling out in October, November timeframe, so sort of later this year, so sort of, yeah,
Okay.
kind of the fall.
That's good.
So I take it there's no objection for this moving forward.
No.
No
none.
objection from me.
All right.
Let's roll.
We'll go to study. You want to go to study or just right to the floor since we're moving out of time?
To the floor.
Okay, let's do that. All right.
All right, public safety action plan.
Okay, we're gonna pull up the first one here, is our staffing, and I don't know if you want to give any updates on, staffing numbers or, anything else like that, but those numbers are in the packet. You can see those, and you also see the training numbers in there as well. So any updates
Yeah,
on staffing?
we have, right now an FTEP, they're gonna be coming out in October. It's a class, it's about 35 ish that are gonna be in the road. We may
Hit the
have,
streets.
yes, slight attrition with that, but that's gonna help, definitely. We're experiencing the lowest attrition that I've seen in quite some time. Beginning of the year, we had some higher numbers, but whenever you have large classes, you're gonna attrit more because the people in those classes are gonna find out police work isn't for them. But we're still having exceptionally high numbers in our classes. We're starting a class in September. Right now, we're right around 35 for that. Now, a few might drop off and not start, but that's really good. We're aiming for 30 to 35 per academy class. And then the interest in laterals is really amazing. We're getting across the state of Colorado now.
A lot. I have cops calling me from
It's crazy.
tons of departments, yeah.
Yeah, and locally. So I think there's about 13 kind of in the pipeline right now for expedited lateral program. So we're really hoping at the end of this year, we're making maybe double digit gains on our numbers over the last few years where we've been, either losing or breaking even. So we're in the best position I think we've been in quite some time, and we're going to see these vacancies dissipate if we stay on track on this very quickly.
And some of the feedback I'm getting from laterals who have called me, officers who have called me from other departments wanting to come on is the, fast track. Well, the fast track and the bonus, the lateral bonus. That's the feedback that I'm getting. When
And
they-
I do want to go back and say, I appreciate council support and everything with changing the hiring process, because I think we have seen, Jason, over the last about year, that's been the results. And again, important civil service commission, I'm not saying that their oversight and everything else, but I think the changes that we did with hiring has been very.
Oh, yeah, I mean,
beneficial.
you see it, we can see it.
We could see it.
Like, it's not,
Lateral interviews, and one of the things they brought up is they're excited about some of the policy changes.
Yep.
Going after offenders, being police again. And they're then seeing that and what their own agencies are doing and restricting their ability to go out and keep the community safe, and seeing what we're doing here, where community safety is the priority and we're gonna go after offenders. I think it's really exciting for other police officers to see that, and it's an attraction for them to want to come.
well, and again, it's a shame that, Chief Chamberlain isn't here to hear this, but again, I mean, that's solely attributed.
He's entitled to vacation.
He deserves it.
Yeah, he does.
I'll allow that. He deserves
Be
it.
clear, he's on vacation. Good for him.
You know, before him, obviously, there was no police work going on in this department for God knows how long, maybe back to the movie theater shooting, but we are on the right track right now. So this is, these numbers are good. I mean, I have officers calling me from all kinds of different departments. It's exciting. Really, like I want to come to Aurora. I want to, I hear the culture's changed. I hear this. I hear there's a nice bonus.
From
Well, work from council and
city attorney. and-
leadership.
yeah.
Nobody really cares about the city attorney. Mostly,
You said it, man.
it's most of the council members that'll fight the anti-police protesters that they like.
Legally,
In the ring.
Legally, found out how to do it legally.
legally.
They really like that. They like that. Uh-huh.
I don't know where I can get a plug in, I try. So
Yeah,
for my office, my wonderful office.
Yeah, absolutely. Just kidding. They love that we're now fighting cases and
Yes.
fighting these activists, so. Yeah, go ahead.
I did a ride along this past Friday. It's awesome. And we pretty much covered the south side of the city, and we were up and down the Colfax corridor, and it was kind of exciting, a couple of arrests.
That's the north side of this.
Or north side.
I was like,
North side of the city, but over on my
what
side.
street are we calling
Ward 4.
Colfax in the south?
Sorry, Ward 4. Oh, y'all shut up. Ward 4. They were Ward 4, and then we went up to Colfax.
She was working.
I was working it for like 6 years. I thought the fast.
We're digressing fast. so.
It went to hell in a handcart. real
Jason,
quick.
what's next?
I'll leave the
But
story.
my point was, see, y'all, you two, we need to put y'all in the corner. I wanted to say that, in my interaction with the officers and the shift change, I went to a shift change as well. And I just kind of did a little survey of how the officers were feeling in terms of support, in terms of their activity, in terms of the training and all these things and the changes. You definitely can feel it, down to the troops, because I'm a troops guy, I want to know how the troops are
You
doing.
misgendered yourself and that's not allowed.
That's
You
okay.
can go to jail for that.
Come for me. Okay. Yeah, I'd love for you to try that. But anyway, the feeling overall is that they feel like it's important that they're actually fighting crime now, that they're actually, the atmosphere on the street has changed. People know, and they're starting to get the notice that Aurora is not a place to fool around in if you're trying to do crime or any other kind of skullduggery, that people are moving. Yeah, I know, I used it in a sentence of people move they're moving, and I like that, and they really have high praise for the chief, and though he's on vacation, it's a good thing. It's a really
First
good thing.
vacation since he started.
It's still working though.
Still
I've been
working.
Getting calls from him.
And I'm surprised that Councilman Chair Jurinsky hasn't said
We are an FAFO city, put that on make that the headline of the Sentinel tomorrow. We're FAFO city.
FAFO.
Yeah. You've got council members that found out how to fight illegally, and we have a legal
Legally, not
team that,
illegally.
yeah, legally.
Okay, to make sure we're
I
clear.
said legally.
I know, it sounded.
And we have a legal team that will now not just settle cases.
Right.
Not roll over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They did.
Okay, all right.
Moving on.
No problem. So action, second item is our crime stats and being a data-driven department. So you can kind of see the numbers there. Obviously, year to date, those are the headline numbers. Really see significant decreases year to date across those crime categories. We do have a little pop-up on the 4-week, current prior 4 weeks. Chief, you want to talk about that again? That helps drive our efforts. We try and look at those to make sure that we're not seeing trends. Those pop-ups don't become trends. So Chief, you want to talk about just in general crime? And
Yeah, obviously July is a busier time of year, so some of that increase compared to the prior 4 weeks, you're gonna see that there. I really look at the year to date. I'm really in tune with our fatal and non-fatal shootings, and that's where I really see the gains we're making. If you look at year to date, 31 versus 48 last year, I mean, that's 17 non-fatal shootings down over a year. So yes, as we see that plus, that's concerning, but also we're gonna trend that over some time. If we continue to see those pluses, that's very concerning. We are seeing something with pop-up parties and these house parties. We talked about them. We talked about them with Denver. Denver seeing the same trends. They just attracting the wrong people to come to these things. And I think there's a mixture of, criminals, and then there's kids that just think there's a party and they go to it. And then you get a large group, and inevitably at the end of it, it ends in a shooting, a fight, something ends up happening at these. So we're taking a much more proactive stance on those. We're actually worked with Roar 911 to create a new call called House Party, because the problem is that when these calls come out, they were coming out as noise complaints. And as any noise complaint, that can vary from, neighbors, pounding on the wall to, a band playing outside, at a bar that's, completely legal. And so our response wasn't always based on the situation at hand. It was based on the call type. So now that we have this house party call type in there, it's going to be a 3-officer response with a sergeant. And our hope is to get there and interrupt these parties, hopefully identify who's hosting them, hold them accountable, and then the disruption will hopefully disperse the people so we don't have the shootings that occur at these things. So really excited to hear about some of those changes, and hopefully it has an effect, because I think 5 of our shooting homicides this year are directly connected to house parties. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. I had an incident. Actually, I'll give praise to 911. I don't like when I call, and owning bars, I have to call 911 from time to time. I don't like the 20 questionnaire that I get. But this time I had a homeless man show up on my patio at JJ's about a week and a half ago. And he had a blowtorch and all his foilies and doing whatever he was doing. And he dumped his bag out all over the patio. And I went out there to confront him, and he had a gun laying on the patio. And I thought, oh, okay, well, I brought a knife to a gunfight, so I should just go back. I called 911, and she started in with her questions. I said, ma'am, there is a man with a gun on my patio. And she said, okay, we're en route. I said, well, look at that. Oh, no more questions. I like that. So I just want to say, and the police got there immediately and got this guy. But yeah, he had a blowtorch for his foilies. That was new. We used to lighters, but not a blowtorch. So
That's extra.
oh, they are extra. They walk right off of Chambers, and they try to set up tents on my property. It doesn't go well.
There's another homeless found dead yesterday and one having a small business.
They found him dead?
Yeah, on the parking lot. I think that happened yesterday. Havana, small
That's
business.
for good.
It could have
So
been
maybe
was it an
10.
overdose or?
Yeah, overdose.
Okay, so we
Yeah.
wouldn't have responded out. Amsalu wouldn't have, but yeah.
And that wouldn't be listed as like a murder or anything.
No.
It's like, yeah,
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
they investigated, but
Yeah,
it's.
they're
it's-
investigating
we
that
would
happened.
have-
Yeah.
Assigned to our unit, but it's very hard to criminally charge somebody for overdoses. If somebody provided them with fentanyl, it has to be pure fentanyl, and it's very difficult to track back to the provider. But, yeah, we do look at overdoses to see if there is any criminal charge, but it's still not listed as.
Right.
Homicide, yeah.
well, it's probably hard to track the dealers.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably, yeah. Yeah.
Okay, go ahead, Jason.
Do you think-
Oh, no, I was just gonna say thank you for the feedback. I'll make sure to pass that on to the team. The questions will always remain, but
Oh, I
the
know.
great thing about protocol now is that we do have the ability to fast track. So when we hear things
Oh, I
about safety, we're
appreciate
able
that.
to immediately
Yeah.
deploy.
Yeah, she
I'm glad
started
to know
asking
that
her
works.
questions and I just said, ma'am, listen, there's a man with a gun on my patio. And she just, we're on our way. And I was like, oh,
Well, it's good to know they
Glad
have the
that works well.
flexibility to do that, you
Yeah.
know, to
he
say.
had a revolver.
Wow,
That's what I said. That's what I said.
back in the day.
I tell you, all right.
Yeah. 6-shooter.
Kicking over.
He was out there having a good old time.
All right, so section 3 is our youth violence, and I'll turn it over to Lisa.
Good morning, Madam Chair. Good morning, council members. So in July, as it says, we had successful contact with 11 of our saved candidates. So we continue to have great engagement in that space, including last night. We were 5 for 5, so that was very exciting.
Right.
Yeah, we're gearing up for our next call-in in September. It's going to be for juvenile only. That'll be the first time that we're doing that for SAVE. So we're excited for this opportunity to collaborate more with our judicial districts to get folks to actually attend that. So look forward to updates after that. And with that, I won't spend too much time on the success stories since they're kind of long. But if you have any questions, I'm happy to answer.
We are working really close with the road called Straight on this, right?
They
Yeah,
were
you can
our
see it in
partners
the
like
front.
that.
They're actually talking about
Yeah.
that, yeah, so they're.
You
something-
say I can see.
Oh, I'm sorry. It is in the write-up, but yeah, we talked, that's one of the great things about the stories is they talk about the work of our partners. Road Call Straight, and so it's good in terms of, I was looking at number 3.
I love that program.
Yeah, they
I
were talking
love
about,
that nonprofit.
just some of the work
And
they
I don't
did.
like nonprofits, but I love that one.
And when are they going to be compelled to come if they're on probation or?
Yeah, so we already have that in place with the 18th where they are court ordering
So
folks to attend. Yes, the 17th, we haven't implemented that yet, but we look forward to working with our 18 partners to show our 17 partners the work that we're doing, showing that it's working, but we've really appreciated the collaboration from the 18th and getting folks court ordered.
That's
Yes.
good.
Yes.
That's good.
Yes.
Oh, state charges. Oh, okay. I see. Okay. Cool. That's
I
awesome.
like it. I like it.
Yeah, we love this program.
Yes, the roll call.
Speaking of programs you love, we're gonna stick with Lisa and stay with our crisis response team, so.
I
our,
love that program too. Oh,
Yeah,
boy.
I have the.
You're
Yeah.
too, sis.
Yeah.
Indeed, yes. So honored to serve as the manager for these folks. So we have 500 calls for service between the two different road services, AMRT and crisis response. As John Wazalowski talked about last month, we stood up our third AMRT unit. So they are out there doing the work. So we're super excited about that. And then our targeted violence prevention team also, really engage with all different levels of government, federal, local, et cetera, getting folks help if they need it, who are threatening mass violence. And then, of course, with our case management as well, that's also the crucial part, like we've talked about before, getting folks connected to resources so that we can hopefully interrupt some of that high utilization cycle.
And we're not seeing any violence towards our clinicians. Have we seen any violence?
No,
We're
not that
still
I'm
not.
aware of.
Okay, good.
Lately, no. Yeah, so. all good.
I mean, I know they have an officer with them, but,
Yes.
but
Yeah.
you just
Still
never
working.
know.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So great to have 3 now.
Yes, it is
Awesome.
very exciting, very exciting. We're hiring for a targeted violence prevention clinician as well as a case manager right now. So we're happy to be doing that as well. Yeah, some success stories for you all.
2 programs I love.
Yes, indeed. Thank you, Madam Chair.
And again, if you get the package, there's nice write-ups in there. Some of the stories they tell are great, just to help really help for our citizens understand the type of work they're doing. I know you all are familiar with it, but for the average citizen out there that may not know, I like those stories because it helps again, just going to bring that home for them in terms of how our folks are doing this. So appreciate it. Jessica's actually out on a ride along with the mayor. So the mayor's getting up to good trouble, I'm assuming, this morning. He's out doing a ride along with Jessica and our homeless teams this morning. So she asked me to cover section 5 on our homelessness program. So you kind of see the numbers from Emma in terms of our abatements and our number of referrals, including the CDOT related. And then you kind of see the year to date, a little more history, kind of see how that is. You'll see a little uptick there in 25 from 24. We think that's a good news story in terms of we're actually getting out doing more abatements. I think some of that's the change from 72 hours now to where we're not having to wait 72 hours. We're able to go out and abate more
Look
frequently.
at February, that's huge.
Yeah.
So, wow. And the CDOT related ones, we're still billing.
Yes,
The
we have an
state, right?
IGA with CDOT, and then whenever we're taking care of things on CDOT property, our abatement contractor takes care of it, and then we bill them.
Okay.
I apologize, I can't go into more detail than the numbers here, but if you have questions, I'm happy to get with Emma and her team.
No,
and
that's
go
fine.
back to you.
Yeah, that's good.
And then the other nice thing I think Emma did on this one is you can kind of scroll down a little bit, Yelena, please. You kind of see they also broke it out by ward. That's a nice thing. I know we get those questions sometimes as to where we're seeing it. So not only by month, but Emma also broke it out by
The
ward.
abatements,
Yeah, that's what these numbers are here. These are abatements.
22 in Ward 2. Wait, where did Ward 1 go?
This is up on the top page. This is just the abatements in 2020,
Oh,
or
can you
in
go
July.
back to the last page? Sorry, I
Yeah, you
didn't
can
catch
kinda
that
see
at the
it. There you
bottom.
go.
Oh, okay.
So this is of those 65 abatements we did in July. This next table kind of shows the breakout of those. So 33, over half of them were in Ward 1, 22 were in Ward 2, none in Ward 3, 4 and 4, 6 and 5, and then none in 6.
What are they doing in Ward 2?
Where they at?
Where are they at in Ward 2?
We are actually seeing a fair number out in I actually just got a call from a developer out for the area south of the airport. You're seeing folks
So
out
it's
there.
open land.
They're going out in open
They're
land.
going
You're
on
seeing,
open land.
yeah, you're seeing they're trespassing, they're camping, they're doing things like that on some of those areas out there.
City manager, just so you know, we broke it down. So if we weren't looking at Ward D1, 173 year to date, D2, 169 year to date, and D3 was 99 year to date. So those numbers are reflective of a good split between the districts. You may see some anomalies within the wards, and that's just July data.
Yeah,
So
so
over the year, it is pretty spread out and what our team is involved in.
And I'll tell you, I think the HART team and Jessica's team are doing a good job coordinating. I think they really have a good feel for where the hot spots are currently, where they kind of, the recurring spots. And then also, as our efforts, sometimes, starts driving folks, we see them move, they find a new spot to go to. There's good communication there.
The HART team does include police officers.
It does, absolutely, yes,
Okay.
yes.
Yeah, we
Yeah,
just upstamped
because
it.
I mean, I'm seeing more and more of them, and I know that they feel like they're carrying these weapons for their own protection. They feel scared or whatever. But a lot of them have weapons on them. A lot of the homeless.
Oh,
Like the guy who had the gun on, I see it at both of my locations. They over at Steel Tips, they go in that tunnel behind there that connects the neighborhood. They go in that tunnel and they try to set up tents, and so I'm constantly chasing them, out, but they all have weapons on them.
Yeah.
So it's scary.
It's a large criminal population within our homeless community. And
Well, they say they're carrying them for their own protection,
Yeah.
but then when you try to confront them and say, hey, you can't be here, they immediately get aggressive, and then you see they have a weapon on them, and it's like, oh, okay. So good, I'm glad we have cops. Okay.
So that's it on the public safety action plan. Any other questions or follow-up?
No, nothing for me.
Okay. All right, thank you all. And then the next item is Candace on our domestic violence updates. I apologize. She had this in the packet last month. We had it on consent. Sorry about that, court administrator. But she's got it here. And if you guys want the details, I'll turn it over to Candace.
I think I have one slide, right. So these stats are as of July 30th. So to get them in the packet on time, that's what date we ran them. And I'm going to go over what we have on our dashboard. If you could go to the next slide. And then once we go through it, you can tell me what you want to see, how often you want updates, that type of thing. So Currently, at that point, we had over 2,000 open DB cases. And in warrant status, it was a little bit over 1,000. And we have about 354 currently on probation. And then the next slide shows
And real
broken
quick,
down.
Vince, but the two that were there, that was June 30th. So, because it was 30 days. I just want to make sure it's clear that we didn't have any come in after the July 1st deadline that that council set for no domestic violence cases in the municipal court. So just so you see that.
So there was 2 DBs on
June 30th, yeah.
Are we, Chief, are we gonna do anything about these active warrants? Try to maybe clear some of these warrants?
So my office, to start with that, Chief, and then my office is reviewing the cases that have active warrants.
Okay.
Substantial number of them are getting dismissed because they've been sitting there. We
Oh,
can't-
like our one from 1990.
Candace has some great information
We
in
have one
here
from
about.
1986.
Yeah.
I don't think we're catching
Yeah,
that
you've
guy.
got some great information here.
Yes, we do. So,
Sending a report to the prosecutor's office on ones that are expiring every month for them to be reviewed instead of automatically renewing them at the 7-year mark. So
Yeah.
that's where we're starting to kind of go through these.
I would be interested in seeing like the active warrants within like the past 2 years. Maybe, and seeing what we can do with the police department to really like put a team together quickly to try and clear some of these warrants, catch these people.
Yeah, but we can develop a list, we can push it out. I think if we push that out to our DART units, PAR units, patrol, and then maybe dedicate a couple units to warrant pickups, we could probably scrub that list pretty quick, as long as they're pretty recent, like the old ones, we haven't found them yet.
Oh, there's some that go back to the
Yeah.
80s.
Yeah. But
those
recent
are
ones-
getting dismissed.
Obvious.
Yeah, so I will tell you, my direction to the criminal division of my office is take hard looks at these,
Yeah.
and if it's, get rid of them.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and then whatever we, wean that number down to, if we could just, Chief, put an emphasis on maybe, taking 30 days and trying to clear some of these warrants and
Or
find these
round
people.
Yeah.
Something like that.
I'll depend on you to provide, a list of the recent ones if you could, and then we'll work, I'll work on that.
Recent me is 2 years. Recent, is that okay? 2 years?
That's fair.
Okay.
It's fair.
There's VRA requirements.
Right.
Prosecutors' offices, they need to do their outreach to the victims.
That's part of the process, right? We are not just dismissing them. Part of the review
Yeah.
is talking to the victim, seeing if they're still even in Colorado.
Right.
Yeah, so we're doing, I appreciate that, Your Honor, but yeah, we are, that is part of the direction. And so those take a little bit of time.
Oh,
Well, he is.
oh.
The Honorable
He's so
Judge Sean Day.
He's brushing up on his courtroom skills. He's had a little practice recently. There you go. So.
I've had some practice recently this week,
Yeah.
so, yeah.
The next one is just open DB cases by county. And then, of course, this is the one that Danielle, the next one was referring to is by open cases by year. If you can go to the. And then the next one is DB cases by age, by year filed. And you can see where we're at with that. And then just for the interest of projecting how these DBs and how long it will take for them to weed themselves through the process. The next slide shows, the time between filing and disposition. The majority of them are disposed 90 days after the incident date. So that's a pretty good number. Of course, we have those ones that hang out for a while, but a good majority of them are disposed at 90 days. And the next slide shows the DV cases filed by month. And then the next slide shows, and this is all on a dashboard too. The next one shows the DV statistics by the last 5 years. And the last one kind of shows where they're at in the process, if they're with probation and where they're at. So I guess my question is, how often do you want updated? What would you like to see?
Numbers go down and get out of our court. That's what I would like to see.
I didn't call it an update, but okay.
I mean, I'll tell you, Candace and Chair and members of the committee, we have the Speedy Trial Act that requires us in a perfect world to get rid of these in 91 days. So that's why we're seeing the numbers. So I think it's really going to be telling December, right? I think maybe you guys want to just wait till December to have another update? See
Well,
where
we-
you want to have?
Well, we're not gonna have a meeting in December. Can
Oh,
we see
sure.
what it looks like in November? Is that,
So yeah, because we're gonna have July, all of August, September. Yeah, November would be a good
so
indicator.
can we have this on the agenda for an update in November? To see what the numbers look like then, and to get an update. So that gives your office
Time to
until
figure out.
November, time to figure out which cases are gonna be, dismissed.
Gives the AD time to put something together
Yeah.
as well.
I would say any, just my request, I would say any that involve an assault. Not a verbal DV, not a DV smashing a phone, not a DV, but any that involve an assault, I would try really hard not to dismiss. When your officer is looking at them.
Oh,
Unless,
sure. I
unless
mean,
it's,
we are, I
you know,
mean,
30 years old.
right. I mean, there's a very specific criteria that we talked about. Yes, if there's and for lack of using legal terms, but we still have good probable cause. We
Yeah.
do have witnesses. The
Yeah,
police
right.
officers are still here.
Yeah.
We're gonna keep those active. But there's just a lot of, I mean, you know,
Yeah.
as you know,
Well, even if the
anytime.
police officers aren't still here, I know retired police officers that are still.
That's
receiving
different. I
subpoena
mean,
for-
we're talking about, we have to look at
Oh, like maybe
Brady,
they've left the state or.
that, and maybe there's Brady issues, maybe there's, but sometimes we don't need the officer. We
Right.
have the victim. So all that's being looked at. I mean, each
Okay.
case is unique and we're
Yeah.
gonna look at that, but no, we're being very,
Yeah.
we want to make sure we're just not flooding the court's docket, you know, with cases that we're never gonna be able to prove.
I know, the ones that have assaults.
Yeah.
Typically, I would try to keep intact.
Very advantage of.
Well.
That
since
too,
that's
I mean,
been
that- I
dead,
mean-
That might just
I mean,
serve.
Yeah, there could be. I mean, there's a variety of reasons why, but
Yeah.
I just,
No,
so,
I understand.
yeah, we're
I
taking a
understand.
very, very serious look at
So
it.
I would really be curious to see, you know, in November, what it looks like, how many active cases we still have in our court, how many active warrants we still have. I would be curious to see
And how many
that.
are on probation still? I
Yeah,
think that would be key too, to kind of see where we're at. Maybe, I don't know if you're able to do it, Candace.
she's got it here. I mean, she's got, I think she's done a great job. This is a really good baseline, I
Yeah.
think, for that.
What-
Because we didn't replace some probation officers that left because we knew we were unwinding them. Right now, they have a very high caseload of about between 120 to 130 per PO, which is really high. It's normally about 90. So I think about in December, it'll start going down. So
We'll get released from probation. That's, yeah.
And most of the probation terms, are they a year or 2 years?
a year.
Right, a year. So it'd be good to see in November how many people we have on probation, and maybe Candace, if you're able to do kind of where they're allegedly supposed to terminate, right?
Do that.
Okay.
Yeah, and a lot of them do get continuances because it takes them a while to
Yeah.
start doing classes, especially if they're not very proactive. So sometimes they do go over a year.
Okay. Cool. Sounds good. Is that your last slide?
That is my last slide.
Oh, okay. I wasn't sure. All right. Do you guys have any questions on
I
that?
have no questions.
I have no question. Thank you.
Okay. All right, miscellaneous matters for consideration. Or would anybody like to give an update yet?
I'm sure you're okay. You're okay with us pushing forward with a study session presentation on court hours for 2026. If the committee's okay with us adding that to study session, probably more than likely because of the e-scribe requirements scheduled for September 11th study session, if you're okay with that.
Yeah. And this is the 40 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or the 4 times or whatever. Yes, our cops are working 4 times, right?
Yeah. Here's the lieutenants as well. On the later shift to help with coverage, but yeah, all our officers.
That's the schedule they're on. Yeah, okay.
Thank you.
Yep. Go ahead.
Madam Chair, just want to make an introduction. Allison, I'm going to embarrass you. So this is Allison Hyder. I want to introduce you. She is Aurora 911's senior communications strategist, and she is hit the ground running. to help us establish all of our public facing, public engagement and community engagement platforms. And so you're going to be seeing and hearing a lot more from us, but also she's doing an exceptional job of just really making connections. And I'm looking forward to building bridges with many different areas of our community.
Some of this comes out of, I know Tina has come and her team have come, sort of as another duty as assigned to some of your board meetings. I think if you had there, they presented, and I think it was really positive feedback we got. And I think Tina looked at that and said, we should be doing more of this. I really want to have a dedicated resource. So we brought that forward. And so we're able to do that, really kind of help tell the 911 story with our citizens, help them understand why they get the questions, but also what they can do on their side, and just sort of really helping them understand our process. So it's important.
Yeah, long overdue. So we're very excited.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, nice to meet you. Yeah. So one thing that I'm gonna say, I haven't been out on a ride along in a while. I hang out in the jail. So because I get to see various aspects of public safety hanging out in the jail. So I did a jail shift. I don't know, what was it, Candace, week and a half, 2 weeks ago, something like that. I love the new devices. I was trained on it to help us decipher what kind of drug. I got to find fentanyl pills with this machine. Very cool. I'm glad we have those. And our officers are not being exposed because it was everything, was in plastic baggies, stuff like that. So our officers aren't being exposed to these drugs anymore. But they trained me how to use the machines to identify what kind of drugs are coming into the jail. That was very cool. In talking with detention staff and officers coming in. And the cool thing about being on the jail side, doing shifts, is I encountered DART, I encountered patrol, I encountered our FAST team, I encountered every kind of officer bringing folks into jail versus being on a ride along. I'm just with a patrol officer. Not that I mind that, but you just see so much more on the jail side, and you get to talk to so many different units. Morale is definitely up. And like I said, I talked to people from the other thing too, versus doing a ride along. I'm talking to officers from all 3 districts because all 3 districts are bringing people into the jail. So that's why I've pulled back on ride-alongs, and I hang out in the jail. They asked me if I wanted a desk in there, so I hang out in the jail. It's a cool place to be. And then one thing I would like to see still get better is the timing. The timing that it's taking to get our officers back on the road. There still seems to be a lot of paperwork, a lot of computer input. There was one thing I noticed, an older officer who was in there, who was just, he was volunteering his time, he was getting paid overtime, but he was volunteering to go in and help the officers coming in. So I saw that process and they told me that there's several older officers that are coming in and they're helping the other officers bringing people in to try and expedite the process. They're doing the inputting and they're doing all that. But I would still like to see that process go a little bit faster to get our cops back out on the road. So I don't know what we can do there. But we only have the one station for property intake, with the camera over it. So I don't know if maybe we look at, a second station or something like that. I went on a Friday night, so it was very busy. That was very busy. It was a lot of people coming in. There was a lot coming in on retail theft. I love seeing the officers are arresting for retail theft now. That was great to see. And then, what else? I definitely want to see the upstairs of the jail reopened, so I don't know what we have to do there. I'm not happy to hear that our 72-hour holds are being sent to the counties. I want them to be in our jail so that we can make sure that they are serving a full 72 hours. So Candace, whatever you need from us.
And I don't know if they told you, but we had some facility issues with electrical and plumbing.
Oh, I knew that. They
And
explained that to
yeah,
me.
so our plan was to open on the 18th. We had to delay it by a week, so we're
Okay.
very close. And I know Judge Day would like that to be open as well, so
Yeah,
hopefully once we reopen it, no
Yeah.
more pipes explode or anything.
yeah.
I think we're getting towards the
Okay.
end of the light for that.
Yeah, because the night I was there, our transport guys in the jail, they had to take 8 up to Adams County, and they had to come back and they had to take 9 to Arapahoe County. So we need to get our jail reopened, and that needs to be a priority. So it sounds like we're getting there, so it's not a funding thing anymore. It's been funded. Now we just need to, okay, well, that's good to know. Cause I asked, I said, I would like to go upstairs, and they looked at me like I was crazy. They said, that's been shut down for a long, I said, oh, I didn't know that. I guess I'm slacking on my jail shifts. So I want to see that reopened. I didn't like seeing the transport folks under such a constraint, running 8 people up to Adams County, coming back, running 9, and this is at 10, 11 o'clock at night. I think that was pretty much all my feedback, but those machines are super cool. I didn't know we got those machines. Those are cool to test figure out what kind of drug it is. I think that's all the feedback that I have, but still want to see that process go a little bit faster in the jail to get our men and women back out on the road.
I know we have reduced that over the last few years. We've looked at efficiencies and trying to reduce it down. We'll take another look at it and see if there's anything else. I mean, some of it is our process, some of it's a jail intake process, and then some of it's the requirements of the counties of what the paperwork is. They need us to provide for them to get in, put in. I know like just the DV stuff, that adds time to our officers because they have to do affidavits and stuff. So we'll take a look at it and see if we can
Okay.
reduce anything else, but I know this is the fastest it's ever been as far as, reducing our amount of.
Oh, it's definitely better. It's definitely better. But on a Friday night, now that we are policing again in this city, it was busy.
Yep.
It was very busy. And, then we have inmates who are waiting, to even just get in to, start the booking process. Those officers have to wait with those inmates, right? They're responsible for that inmate, their safety and everything until they're handed off to detention. So I just saw, and again, we only have the one station for property, and it just, I understand it has to be the way it has to be because there has to be the camera so that we can prove this was their property and stuff. But, with us policing again, I think that the jail can't really be the redheaded stepchild anymore. I think we need to figure something out to get people in.
All here that wanting to get the officers out on the street doing police work, not
Yeah.
sitting in a jail waiting.
Yeah,
Or doing paperwork that is,
well, they were backed up in the bay.
oh, really?
Yeah, I mean, they were backed up in the bay.
They did that just because you were there, Danielle.
Well, and I will say, some of them were coming in and when they saw me, they're like, hey, so. I mean, I might have been a slight distraction, but, I was saying hi to them, finding out what was going on and,
Signed something that said if anything happens, that she needs to just watch.
I was trying to talk to some of them. One guy, he wanted to tell me his whole life story, and I listened to this guy, and I tried to tell him that there was a better life for him out there. It's a very nice conversation I had with this gentleman.
Would there be some process improvement in how these forms are done? So that they're like some automated.
The county's done.
Yeah.
Well, I'm thinking of when you're processing folks, is there some synergies that can be built in so that you have, similarity? And this is gonna be on the form every single time. So you don't have to spend time doing things that are redundant, and that way you can speed it up a little bit.
Well, every case is different.
Yeah,
and-
I mean,
But there's information that you put in for every single case, no matter what it is, until you get down into the minutia of what the case is. I
Right.
mean, like,
I
is
would-
there ways that you
Making
can improve
improvements
that?
on Versadex, but some of this information that we're inputting that we have to get, you know, it's how we flag our non-fatal shootings. It's how, so we're collecting data out of that,
Yeah.
which is we're required to do certain things that we just can't get around. And that causes the process to be what it is. We can't even reduce it. But I do think there may be, we'll take another look at our Versadex system and with Candace and see if there's any other places we can try to streamline it. But, some of this, we're getting down to stuff that's like, these are requirements that we just can't. Yeah.
Don't have that one boundary statement, and some of these homeless folks are coming in with bundles and bundles of stuff, so I think that's also a part of the backup is the property, so maybe if we can find a way to have a second camera, to have a second property intake station, I think, 'cause one slip, I found out one sheet, they had done away with, because several officers were coming in and saying, I need this slip, and other officers are saying, oh, we don't do that one anymore. So I think as far as that side, I think we are getting that down. I think there's a backup in property. And then I think ultimately it's just the fact that we're policing again, and especially doing a Friday night shift, set.
Arrested people that are coming in with.
Well, there was one arrest, they brought in 5 females on one retail theft operation. So that took up that right there took up every single intake station that we have, right there, just those 5 women.
I'll tell you, Matt, what takes the longest is, I know, when I was in my former role of public safety, they would let the officers drop people off to go back out, right, and get their, but what happened is that we were so busy that the officers wouldn't have time, and so we were, for the court process, that's why we're making the officers sit there, do all their probable cause statements, everything else. That's what takes the time. And my recommendation is not to change that, because I want the officers, once they go out, they're done.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, they can finish their offense report later, but all the court paperwork, because I don't want Candace having to delay transporting to the county if they're going there.
Oh, no, there was no delay. I mean, the
No, I know.
transport guys were on it.
Well, but because they had all the paperwork.
Yeah.
If we were letting them leave and get it done, usually it'd be at the end of the shift.
Right.
And
Well,
so,
maybe, Chief, I don't know, maybe, I really appreciated seeing, some of these, more seasoned officers in there, giving their time to helping. But maybe we can look into, injured officers, officers who need to be on the desk because of maternity reasons, something like that. Maybe we can find other officers to help do that. I just think that was really cool to see. That was really cool to see, huh? I don't know. Can we use civilians for that? Probably
Probably
not.
not.
Yeah, okay.
No, this is-
But I think any officers maybe who are, injured or, any that need to be on light duty or anything like that, maybe, and not as a punishment, but I mean, this officer that was in there, I mean, he was helping these guys so much. And I saw how appreciative those officers were of him. But he was only one person in there that night, so.
Definitely the light duty. I mean, that fluctuates. I mean, you'd want somebody who's gonna be on light duty for a period of time to be able to go in there, learn the processes and not hold things up, be able to be,
Right.
be a help. I know we've done it on overtime. That's, I think, what that officer was
He
doing.
was on overtime,
And
yeah.
we are trying to be cautious of, of those expenditures, but, if it's really, from your standpoint, if it's really helping, we'll look at if there's some critical times that we can,
I mean, because, these inmates, they wanna, well, first of all, they wanna get out of their handcuffs as soon as possible. We can't do that until they're processed and then can be put in one of the little, holding cells or whatever, and then when we have them backed up in the bay, those officers, have to stay with them, and yeah, I just, whatever we can do to.
the longer they're with them, the more opportunities are for them to get agitated.
Yep,
And there'd be conflict
right.
between our officers and them because
That's right.
it's just this
That's
large
right.
amount of time
yeah.
that they're spending this, in handcuffs.
And they're stuck in handcuffs the whole time. So I just, whatever we can do, like I said, a big delay was property. Because of how much stuff some of these people are coming into jail with. So a big delay, was property. And these folks coming into jail, I mean, they were barking, don't lose my chain, don't lose my bracelet, don't lose my watch, don't lose my, so they're it's a big deal to them. For some of them, it's, all they have. So, they're coming in, some of them are coming into jail with a lot of stuff. So I think having just one property station, I don't think that's very efficient. That's not your fault, it's just not efficient. But yeah, I think with the more police work we are doing in this city, and the amount of arrests we are making, definitely doing a Friday night shift in the jail. I saw for myself the backup, that's occurring. And the whole time, folks are sitting in handcuffs, and we can't change that. They can't get out of their handcuffs until we got them processed in, but we gotta,
Light duty,
I-
idea, and I think,
yeah,
that's-
maybe some of the officers on light duty, let's get them in there to help. There's that room where a lot of them were going, on the other side of the intake. Yeah, so a lot of the officers were going over there when it got super backed up. So just if we can make sure we're utilizing the space, if we could see what it would take to put in a second camera for property intake. Cause having one is just not enough. Some of these folks are coming in with a lot of stuff and they care about their stuff. So, yeah, that was just my observations that I wanted to share. But ultimately morale is up with the detention staff and officers. I loved seeing the machines where officers aren't having to expose themselves to these drugs. Everything else was very positive. I'm just seeing that, with more police work we're doing and the more arrests we're making, there is a backup. It is a bottleneck at the jail and yeah, we want to, obviously these people are already upset. They've been arrested. Whatever we can do to further expedite the process, get them out of handcuffs and get them in a cell, is great. And then I noticed, in the cells, there's a phone. They have access to a phone, in the holding cells that they can use whenever they want. Is the city getting any of that money? Cause that phone was used all night long. I think we should look into that because I haven't, I've toured Arapahoe County Jail, I've toured different jails and I have not seen, most of the time the phones are located in the day rooms. I've not seen a jail where they have phones actually in their cell. So.
And I know that they're in the actual cells, I do believe there is a charge, and we're looking at.
There's absolutely a charge.
Yeah, we're looking at changing a vendor so that it's, there's a possibility of doing a video.
Have some of that money,
Yeah.
because I watched this one specific mail cell that had about, it was a holding cell, not the individual one, but it was the big one. And there was about 7 males in there before transport. And I mean, that phone was being used the entire time I was there. So whoever they're calling is accepting these calls and accepting these charges. We need to be getting some of that money.
Yeah, I'm sure that we're getting a portion back, not all of it, because we have a vendor in.
Well, of course, not
I
all of it,
couldn't
but
tell you how much, but I will check.
yeah, I would like to see if we can negotiate that because I have not seen a jail that has a phone inside the cell for them to use whenever they want. I've only seen jails where they're out in the day room or whatever, they have, out on their free time or whatever, they can use the phone. They have access to this phone the entire time, and someone was on that phone the whole time I was in the jail. So I think we're losing some money there. We need to better negotiate that, get some money. But those are all my observations of the jail. I'll be back soon.
Yeah, and just to add to that, our other council members are more than welcome to come anytime.
I work at the jail, so I.
Yeah, he's at a different jail.
Yeah, you get it. Yeah.
I get that.
Do you guys have phones in the cells or is it
No,
just
we
in the
don't
day
have
room?
a phone in the cell. We have in the
In the
day
day
room,
room.
but they
Yeah,
use
this
a
is-
lot. And then we do have a tablet.
Our jail having phones inside the cell, they were on it the entire time I was there. That's a lot of money and we need to be getting a kickback.
Legislation all the time that's addressing that specific issue about recalls, and what you can charge and how much.
Yeah, they get their free call, but then it's, yeah,
So
so we'll look to see what
Let's just
legally we
make
can
sure
do.
that
Yeah.
we're getting a portion of those charges, because they just hang out on the phones.
Yeah, this,
Our phones upstairs work a little bit differently than the ones downstairs.
Right.
But
I did find out, Miss Kitty's, why they like being at the Aurora jail versus the Arapahoe County Jail. They have a phone. They have a phone at all times. So I don't know why I've done tons of jail shifts and I hadn't picked up on that before. Maybe it was because it was so busy that night. I had a lot to watch, but I was like, they have a phone in their cell, not just in the day room. So that's why they don't like going to county. That's why they want to be at the Aurora jail. Figured it out.
It's a lot of.
Figured it out. So I'll be back for another shift soon. More updates to come, but that's what I have, and hopefully we can get a second property station in there. Does anybody else have anything that they want to talk about? Anything? David Ekstrom, the union's doing okay? Okay. Our next meeting is September 9/11. Okay, all right, 9 a.m.
Clarify, I know, I talked to Judge Day, he's taking the study session on 8th. I know he said the 11th, but it'll be on the 8th.
Oh, study session on the 8th.
Yeah, on the 8th.
Oh, yeah, that right. Now I see. Okay. Perfect. With that, this meeting is adjourned. Thank you all so much.